Popping with it, man. We got Black Sam and Rockstar. Rockstar went on Karen Capone and replied to all the, you know what I'm saying, all the backlash he been getting. Donald Trump, but Elon Musk and said they need to pardon Derek Chauvin, the dude who was unalive, George Floyd. So we got a lot of ish going on.
A lot of the verses that Nipsey Hussle gave to, let's say, homies. So Rockstar gave up the verse, and
Like
But no, I'm not.
they just got
But no, I'm not going
you know what I'm saying?
on hard at all.
I'm in the presence of some rich dudes, bro, and I see a rich man is angry at me. He looks like he is seconds away from swinging on me, bro. I'll probably antagonize a little bit further, get swung on, probably get embarrassed and packed out, and then sue. All right, listen, man, I'm gonna wipe my tears away with the millions from the embarrassment of a pack out video of me being posted on the internet.
Because a lot of y'all ain't gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know. I feel like I stood my ground. I feel like I hollered. I got my point across as much possible as I could with all the commotion. And you know, it just went to where it went to, man. But I just want to say, I got love for Sam. I got love for Nip. I got love for the family. I ain't got no hate in my heart. Ain't no hatred in my heart at all. My heart pure. You understand? I care about them still to this day. It's nothing but a phone call. It's nothing we can talk. Yeah. Do I want my fade? Yeah. For how I did it? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like it was out of pocket.
Rockstar, my guy, but I don't think this is a smart move because one, you're never getting a fade, right? Like the fade with Black Sam, Nipsey Hussle's brother, is never happening. Like he's not about to link up and squabble or fight because one, I don't even think he's a gang member, right? So he's not even obligated with those politics to link up and fight you. So the fade is never going to happen. But I believe this right here is a bad move because what's the ultimate goal? I do believe that Rockstar wants to be friends, wants to be back in the good graces of Black Sam. I do believe that Rockstar values that friendship and values that relationship. That relationship is just about done right now because his problem was the internet activities. His problem was doing things on the internet. So once you take it to the internet and call him out for a fade, well, he's essentially now done, right? He said,
that boy Flacco is crazy, man. He always put his little twist and spin on it, talking about he's not a gang member. He don't got it. Like, bro, you don't know what he'd do, nigga. Like, he not you. He ready to squabble up. He probably, you know what I'm saying? You see his energy. He ready to squabble
I thought the conversation would change things. I thought the conversation would send a message about the internet stuff. But after the conversation, he's calling me out for a fade on the internet. You can see how that would ostracize him, how that would pretty much make him think, all right, bro, I don't want to deal with this guy no more. And I don't think Rockstar wants that. I think Rockstar feels like he's handling things the right way. He's handling things through the proper protocols, which is, as game makers, if we feel disrespected, we can call you out for a fade, we'll link up, we fade, we shake hands, and then go back to being cool again. No, Black Sam has now elevated to a point in his life right now where he's a mogul, he's a businessman, he's a father. He stands for something much greater. He's not linking up for no squabble. In his interview, Rockstar did express how much love he had for Sam, so it's pretty clear that Rockstar wants to reunite with Sam. So this right here, to me, like pretty much closes the door on all of that. Sam is not going to see this and think, you know, yeah, let's be cool again, buddy. All right? He's probably going to sit and say, all right, bro, we done. You are unofficially an op.
But after that, we can shake hands, whatever. Or we ain't never got to talk again. However, whatever it's got to be, it's got to be. You know what I'm saying? So just leave it at that. But like I said, I ain't got no hate in my heart. I'm not going to say nothing bad about it. I'm not going to go on no campaign. I'm just telling my side, my story, and how I get down. You know what I'm saying?
So you and Black Sam need a fade. You need a fade with Black Sam for that.
I mean, I don't think, what else can it be? What else can it be? Like, tell me that. What else can it be?
I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you know, I just asked the question.
I'm just trying to figure out, like,
I don't know. I don't think Rockstar believes a fade or a fight with Black Sam is the only way to squash it, primarily because of the internet and people's opinions. I don't think so. I do believe some component of this is Rockstar grew up in LA. Rockstar grew up from a gang neighborhood, right? Rockstar is a gang member. So fades are how they, handle issues. However, I do believe, though, the backlash, the commotion, the bloggers, people online attacking his character as a man, attacking his status as a gang member, I do feel like that has some component to play into Rockstar believing that he now has to come out here and call out Black Sam for a fade. Because if people weren't online saying, hey, bro, you got marked out. Hey, bro, you got punked. Hey, bro, he made you look bad. Hey, bro, you soft. If people weren't saying that, I don't believe Rockstar would call out Black Sam for a fade. Because if we look at the altercation from, just a blank lens, right? Bro, normal people with sense would probably say that's not a fight-worthy altercation, right? Black Sam didn't call Rockstar out of his name. Black Sam never called Rockstar a slur.
That's like, what else can it be? Because it's like,
I should have an opinion about.
I'm just saying, like, if you got embarrassed like that, I mean, what else can it be? You feel me? Like, what else can it be? The whole internet making a spectacle of it. What else can it be?
Black Sam expressed himself in a very stern manner, but he never got disrespectful. Now, doing it in front of public, doing it in front of people, doing it with the cameras there, that can be seen as disrespect. But if that man never disrespected you or called you out of your name or violated you, then I don't believe that because the altercation was filmed and put on the internet and people are giving their 1-2s, I don't believe we should listen to the masses or people who are incentivized with making you crash out. Because the people who are telling you, oh, man, listen, man, bro, if that was me, man, I would have swung. Or, hey, man, listen, bro, why you ain't do that? The fans who are saying that to you, bro, are fans who want you to crash out so they can be entertained, or fans who want you to crash out so they can run to their blog and make more money from you. So I don't believe this is smart at all.
We can talk after. Yeah, but right now, we got to do what we got to do. So that's just where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? There's no love lost, nothing. I understand. He got all right to be mad. He got all right to be mad. You know, I accept it. I took accountability for my actions. But do you treat it like that? Do you treat a solid nigga that you with, that you know what I'm saying, shared valuable information with, that did business? Like, I've done business with you, bro. Like, real business.
Rockstar and me are like brothers. That's my guy. But if Rockstar is taking accountability and saying that Black Sam had every right to be upset and mad, that Black Sam is 100% right to be mad and he's taking accountability, then I don't believe that Rockstar should distinguish between it being said publicly and it being said in private. Because if Black Sam would have said these things in private and you wouldn't have cared or wanted to fade in private because the words weren't disrespectful, then I don't believe you should treat it differently just because the public got a hold of it, right? So, and he couldn't help it, right? You know, like y'all seen each other in public, y'all embraced, and it needed to be said there. So if you wouldn't have been upset about it in private because he didn't call you outside of your name, he didn't call you no buster, he didn't disrespect you, then I don't believe that conversation having taking place publicly. I don't believe personally that you should be upset to where you want to catch a fade because he can't really like affect or control how the public view it, right? I don't believe his intentions was to do that there publicly and have the internet consume it. No, right? As you know, he's probably a private person, so I don't believe so. Now, when Rockstar says him and Black Sam got business, he's referring to the business on the music side. So Rockstar was one of the last people to get a Nipsey Hussle feature. And because Nipsey Hussle passed away, the estate began to low-key look after or try to locate all Nipsey Hussle's verses to try to turn it into maybe they can take that verse and put it on a better song for his project. So they were buying out a lot of the verses that Nipsey Hussle gave to, let's say, homies. So Rockstar gave up the verse and, he still has equity or ownership of that particular song. So when he said, we still got business, meaning, if that verse or that song potentially drops, Rockstar will still have to, be made whole from that situation.
Yeah, but I feel where Rockstar coming from, and I feel where Nipsey Hussle brother coming from. You know what I'm saying? Nipsey Hussle brother, you know what I'm saying? He ain't wrong. You know what I'm saying? But Rockstar ain't wrong either. The man that fade or on the fade with dog. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't like the way he handled the situation.
On the floor. You feel me? Like, music business. But we ain't gonna talk. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even want to like go into all that because I know we still got shit on the line. So I just want bro to come holler at me. You know what I'm saying? When he get a chance, when he can calm down, maybe he hear some reasoning from somebody else to say, hey, bro ain't that bad. Because right now he got a picture of me that's painted, that's up. And that's not the case. And I would thought we had a better relationship than that. Like I said, if I done spent I'll pull up to the weed shop, we in the back talking for 3 hours. Me and him, talking about everything. Before him and Brick got into it, I knew he had a problem with Brick. He told me. I knew he had a problem with Brick before him and Brick got into it. Did I tell the whole world? No. I didn't run and tell the whole world, oh, Sam got a problem with Brick when you see Brick, this and that. No, I didn't do that because you told me that in confidence. I can speak about it now because y'all niggas done got into it already.
Rockstar don't go into details here regarding the Brick Baby and Black Sam beef, but I guess I can speak on it, right? Because Brick Baby, I believe, spoke on it publicly before. So because he did, I can spill the tea here. So Black Sam and Rockstar had a meeting at Black Sam's office, and in that meeting, Black Sam told Rockstar that he's not really appreciating Brick Baby's comments online. I believe Brick Baby was doing a couple of interviews sort of speaking about the Nipsey Hussle situation regarding Nipsey Hussle and Brick Baby's little homie, which is Eric Holder, right? So Brick speaking on the situation, Black Sam ain't really happy about it. Black Sam expressed that to Rockstar. Now, when Brick Baby went to Complex with no jumper, Black Sam was there. Now, when they met up at Complex, when they ran into each other, Black Sam swung on Brick Baby. Now, Brick Baby said this publicly, so I'm not saying nothing new, all right? But Black Sam swung on Brick Baby. Now, according to Brick Baby, it startled him a little bit, but he regained his focus, and they really had a full-on squabble in the middle of Complex. So Black Sam and his stance is pretty consistent, bro. He is swinging, running through, demonstrating, cracking on anybody he feels like is bastardizing his brother's legacy.
But before all that, I brought up Brick name in that office, looked at me crazy. They looked at me crazy. Like, I'm like, damn, did I say something? You feel me? It's just the same shit. Like, I don't know what to say and what not to say around these. You feel me? Because they sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, they're sensitive, bro. And they got all right to. I'm not saying they don't. But when it comes to that, you supposedly, like, this supposed to be it's supposed to be a different type of energy, bro. It's not supposed to be that type of energy. You feel me? So, I felt a little disrespected because, you know what I'm saying? But I had to calm down too because,
Rockstar was equipped with all of this, which is why Rockstar acted how he acted, because Rockstar knew it wasn't personal, because they had the same reaction to other people who were online. The only difference between Rockstar and those people is Black Sam didn't run into those people at the Marathon Burger with 1,000 people around. That's the only difference, right? Because as Rockstar said, when Rockstar said certain names or said certain things in the office, they reacted away. They reacted in a vicious way. Like, their mannerisms were very transparent. They wasn't feeling it. So listen, so whoever those other people are, bro, that's on Black Sam's blacklist, I'm praying for you, all right? Because That's a man with little words, bro. He don't got too many words for too many people, bro. And it looks like, as Rockstar just said, bro, they're having conversations privately. They're taking notes. They're writing names down. And when they run into those names, as Black Sam just said, they getting cracking and demonstrating. So good luck. But right there is, I believe Rockstar should know it's not personal. And I believe Rockstar should let time heal this, right? Rockstar should sort of, just let the space heal it. I don't think that asking for the fate publicly will really sway the public opinion, right? Because I believe the trolls will say, well, why you don't ask for the fate in person? And bro, you can't make the internet happy, bro. I believe if Black Sam is your brother, because Rockstar have known his people since he was 13 years old. So
A man accused of shooting someone inside an office building in that city. These are surveillance photos of the guy they're looking for. Police say this man opened fire inside the Advance building on Greenfield Road near West 9 Mile Monday afternoon. One person was hit. There's no word on that victim's condition at this time, but if you know anything about the shooting, you're asked to call Southfield Police.
Rondae, what's the deal, bro?
Shit, man, cool. Let's knock this little shit out.
So you actually got sentenced now?
Hell yeah, they gave me 6, but I got the little 6 months credit, so I got 5.5 left.
Okay, so you gotta do 5.5 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, without going too much into it, bro, like what was the situation that happened? You know what I'm saying? That got you in a predicament and shit.
Yeah, shit. You know, niggas at the jewelry store, nigga probably called in, seen me or some shit. Goofy ass niggas, well, you know how that shit go. Everybody want to be tough and all that shit. Come out there like 4 or 5 niggas and try and do some shit I ain't never been going for, never went for. You know what I'm saying? So a nigga got shot and all that. You know what I'm saying? And shit, that's why the fuck I'm here. Shit, niggas want to be tough and all the extra shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I ain't really tripping. That shit could have been way worse.
Period. But I definitely, you know what I'm saying, feel for you, bro. It's like the shit happened like back to back. You know what I'm saying? With the unfortunate shit with bro, and then you know what I'm saying with you. You feel me? But looking back on it now, do you regret what happened?
Hell no, because nigga shit was gonna happen anyway. It wasn't gonna turn out no different. The only way it could have turned out different is if a nigga got killed, and it would have been way worse. You know what I'm saying? So. You know, I'm not going for the shit. I never was going for it. So shit. I mean, the only thing I regret is losing time with my motherfucking kids. Because like I say, the shit could have been worse. They ain't even about to remember this time I'm gone. So I ain't even really tripping. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
So like, with the rap shit, I mean, what's your next plans? What's your next plans for this shit?
Shit, I mean, this shit always gonna be there. I ain't about to come home no old ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm still come home be younger than most of these niggas is rapping right now. So shit ain't going nowhere. I just gotta take a break. Shit. Gotta get this shit out the way. I mean, shit, I come back to the shit, but I still got my little tape I'm about to drop and shit. But I mean, as far as that shit, I come home and get back on that shit.
So you still 4746 global, like you and Joe still got the shit going on?
Yeah, I mean that's anyway though. You feel me? That's my nigga. You know, them my niggas and shit. So I ain't nigga that's gonna make my situation and say fuck niggas. You know what I'm saying? This is my situation. I put myself in this shit. So feel me? Ain't shit gonna change though.
I can feel that. So, bro, you know the streets ain't heard from you in a minute. Like I'm like, damn, you feel me? Like it's down there. You feel me? Definitely can feel that your ass gone, bro. I ain't gonna lie. So like everybody that's been looking forward to your shit. You feel me? Niggas that know Rondae gone. You feel me? Everybody that's saying free 9,000. Like you could directly talk to them. What would you say to them?
Shit, I mean, just a little motherfucking break. I'd be back nigga and little nigga shit. Niggas, I mean. Shit, it ain't shit. I can't do shit about it. Just like I say, the shit could have been way worse. You feel me? I was about to get hit with a tent. You feel me? They done broke my shit down, took it down. But the reason I ain't really go to my trial and shit and trying to beat my shit, because my trial coming up being a victim and niggas want to start turning themselves in. So, you know, if these niggas would have been forced to come to my trial and testify, and these niggas that the shit happened to, niggas known for testifying. You feel me? So it's like, you ain't slick turning yourself in. So the county on me 4 or 5 days before my trial would started on July 22nd, you feel me? So it's like, I ain't gonna be no dummy and try and fight the shit. The judge already don't fuck with the nigga, so you know, I have to take my L with this little 5 nigga and I'll beat your crib. Most niggas gonna be dead anyway, so shit, feel me? I just take this little 5, I ain't tripping on this shit.
Did the video, what you putting the shit in there with the news clip and everything, did that make your situation a little worse?
I mean, the bitch said something about it to me, you know what I'm saying? The judge saying shit about the prosecutor was, but it ain't making no worse, because shit, they already knew I was rapping this shit. So if I wouldn't have made that, he still would have still was bringing up old shit I did, the old videos, you know what I'm saying? Bringing up the woo shit, because them niggas was saying unnecessary shit that happened before. So, you know, they just was going to make it about some gang shit regardless if I did that or not. So it ain't make shit worse. They would have bring up the rap shit anyway.
So pretty much you just cop the plea to your best, you know what I'm saying, your best possible situation for real.
Yeah, hell yeah, I wasn't about to be no dummy and fight the shit, you feel me? get double digits for the shit.
Right. I can feel that, bro. I can feel that, bro. So, man, dog. So you say 5 years. So through this time, you feel me? Like, how you think you gonna spend like your time, bro? You think you gonna be right in that bitch? You about to work out, come out big as hell, or how you about to play it, dog? That's a bit.
I don't fucking know. I know I'm just ready to get out this whole ass county, dog. I'll be out this bitch Monday, so shit. I don't know. I mean, nigga might work out or something. I don't know. I'm waiting for sure, but shit. I don't know, but it's 5 years. So much shit, you know what I'm saying?
Period. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I appreciate you reaching out to me for the interview, my nigga.
Police in Southfield need your help finding a man accused of shooting someone inside an office building in that city. These are surveillance photos of the guy they're looking for. Police say this man opened fire inside the Advanced building on Greenfield Road near West 9 Mile Monday afternoon. One person was hit. There's no word on that victim's condition at this time, but if you know anything about the shooting, you're asked to call Southfield Police.
When you can set up reliable Spectrum internet in minutes, you can feel at home in minutes.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration will have to repay frozen foreign aid to nonprofits after the Supreme Court issued its first major ruling on his executive actions. It's one of dozens of legal challenges the Trump administration is facing as they try to reshape the federal government. The president touted his executive actions in his address to Congress last night, calling the first month of his presidency the most successful in history.
Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land.
Federal judges have also blocked several of the president's executive actions as these legal battles play out. Senior reporter Catherine Falders joins me now for more on where some of those cases stand. Hi, Catherine. So the Trump administration has been sued at least 98 times since the president's inauguration. How significant is this Supreme Court ruling now? And how are these other executive actions and initiatives holding up in court?
Well, it is significant because it is one of the first. There has been at least one in the past, but one of the first to reach the Supreme Court in this way. And what the Supreme Court, of course, did here is ruled that the Trump administration needs to comply with that lower court's order and pay out that nearly $2 billion in foreign aid. Now, it's unclear when they will do that and the constraints around that. The court did not elaborate specifically on the decision, said the district court needed to clarify what obligations the government has here. But I think this is pretty reminiscent of what you will see in the future. A lot of these cases will likely make it to the Supreme Court. A lot of these challenges are in the preliminary phase here. There's been a request for immediate relief, temporary restraining orders, if you will, pausing some of Trump's actions, but they are working their way through the courts. And this one did get there pretty quickly. So the court did rule that the administration must pay this out. So the question is, how do they do that? Does the district court say exactly what the government's obligation is? But you will see a lot of this in the future on various different topics, given, as you know, Diane, there have been at least 98 legal challenges just in the first month of Trump's administration.
And Catherine, lawyers are already citing the president's speech last night in a case against the Department of Government Efficiency. They say Trump clearly identified Elon Musk as the head of Doge, seemingly contradicting his own administration's legal arguments. How could that affect the case?
It's a good question. And there's a lot of legal challenges against Doge, but a lot of the questions surrounding it have been the unknowns about it. Elon Musk has said that Doge is being completely transparent, but the reality is we don't really know who runs Doge. The administration does say there is an acting administrator. At the same time, as you know, they say that Elon Musk is in charge. Well, the administration in court papers in a separate case filed in the DC District Court made very clear that Elon Musk is a special government employee, as we've reported, meaning that he only can work 130 days in the administration, and that he is very clearly not the administrator, that he reports to President Trump, and they equated him to an official who was a senior advisor, for example, in the last administration. So lots of questions surrounding who actually is in charge here. Trump obviously made that comment last night, said that Musk is in charge of it. So many mixed messages here. And frankly, a lot of what we don't know about Doge has been coming out in court filings. We've learned many new nuggets about how it's formed, exactly who works for them. We still don't really know that. But I will think that in the future, at least, as there's filings, as lawyers appear in court, the administration will be forced to answer questions about what exactly Doge is doing. And they are essentially forcing them to go on the record with more transparency here.
All right, senior reporter Catherine Falders, thank you.
While some Republicans are defending President Trump's actions, my next guest is apologizing to the world. Jasmine Crockett is a Democratic congressman from Texas and sits on the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees. And I'm awfully glad to have you here because I read what you said, apologizing to the world. And I want to go deeper into it because you said, I'm sorry that the bright light America used to be is dimming. Why did that whole interaction seem to be so distant for you, for what the U.S. stands for?
Besides the fact that we're talking about an ally, we're talking about Ukraine, a country that was invaded. First, it started off with trying to change the facts. We don't live in a world of alternative facts, trying to change the reality of who invaded who. After we kept saying that Trump was nothing but Putin's puppet, we kept saying that he was palling around with Putin. We've said it all kinds of ways. But this comes at the heels of the UN voting with Russia. This also then is an opportunity for Trump to show that, no, America knows who our friends are and we're going to stand with those friends. And unfortunately, he decided that he wanted to talk about his clothes. Now, maybe this is because Trump never wanted to go serve his country. And right now, the only service that he's giving to us is driving our country apart. But I'm sorry, when you're at war, you're not worried about your outfit. That is what we call a privilege, number one. Number two, to say, oh, what can you afford? Well, if he was walking around in the fanciest suits, I'm sure that they would accuse him of taking our dollars and spending it on his wardrobe and being more concerned about that. Listen, this is a no-win situation when you're walking in with someone who has decided that he is going to align himself with a dictating thug.
Okay, so to that end, we know before the exchange, what was supposed to happen was there was going to be the signing of this preliminary mineral deal, at least, right? Aiming to end the war, but without Trump committing to any security guarantees. I mean, you say that peace should not have a price tag, but there are some Republicans, as you know, and the president claiming that, oh, you know what, America's being taken advantage of here. Is there a middle ground we can get to?
There's not a middle ground with this president. He has no intentions of doing right by, number one, the United States. I appreciate what the former governor was saying. We are in a national security crisis. We've been in a national security crisis ever since, honestly, before he even ran. We know that he had our national secrets stored at Mar-a-Lago. People felt like that wasn't really a big deal. They wanted to compare it to what was going on with Joe Biden. We know that he was showing this to people that maybe weren't supposed to see our national security secrets. We know that he is consistently engaged in questionable deals as it relates to our emoluments clause when he was in the first go round. Next thing you know, his son-in-law was getting a lot of money from the Saudis as soon as they walked out. And so right now, and not to mention, he has decided that his DOJ will not prosecute cases that engage in any type of foreign nefariousness when it comes to getting money. So unfortunately, we have someone that is occupying the White House. And as far as I'm concerned, he is an enemy to the United States. He swore an oath just like the rest of us. But right now, when you are literally putting us at risk, all because of what? Because you want to convince your followers that you should be a dictator too, that you should never leave the White House because you don't believe that elections should take place. I don't really understand what is going on. And I don't know what it's going to take to get people to wake up. We are not living in a safe country when we decide that we are going to weaken our national security by getting rid of those that are watching our nuclear stockpile, by giving everything over to a private friend known as Elon Musk. We are getting rid of all of the inspector generals. And so there's literally a lack of checks and balances all around us. And then we have somebody who's sending his vice president out to offend our allies in Europe. Listen, the way that I used to explain this on the trail when I was campaigning for Madam Vice President is I would say, listen, it's kind of like the schoolyard. When you go to school and everybody knows that your siblings are at the same school, or they know that your cousins are at the same school, then they may not pick a fight with you because they know that if they pick a fight with you, they got to pick a fight with your whole family. But when you're like me, an only child, they may decide to pick a fight with you because they're like, there's nobody that is going to back her up when we get to the playground. Right now, he's trying to put us into a situation to where we will be the only ones on the playground when you're going out talking about you're going to go into Canada, when you're going out and you're talking about Mexico. Listen, Zelensky is right. He doesn't have the privilege that we have. We've got water on each side, and we used to have friends on the north and south. He doesn't have that privilege. And so I really want America to wake up because it should not be partisan. Be the selfish people that we love to be in America.
Yeah.
Worry about your safety.
You mentioned Elon Musk, which brings me to those federal employees that are receiving that. These are emails again this weekend demanding, asking whatever that they sum up what they did last week. And you're a member of the House DOE subcommittee. Are you looking into the legality of this? I mean, should federal employees even respond? Have some been fired as they've been threatened to be fired if they don't respond? Do you know?
We get no answers.
No answers.
DOE is just something for Marjorie Taylor Greene to sit atop and make it seem like she's important. We ain't doing nothing. I mean, it's much like much of what we see in Congress, right? Because we've yet to have anyone that works for DOE. I don't even have a list of who works for DOE. We have nothing from them whatsoever. We have no findings from them where they're issuing reports to us and they're saying, hey, these are the things that we really need to root out as you are going through the budget process. We have none of that. We have no information about who is exactly sending these emails because we know that they told the courts, oh, Elon isn't running DOE. Then they told us that a woman that was on vacation in Mexico was running DOE. Like, you talk about transparency. There is literally a lack of transparency. And when we decided that we wanted to subpoena him to come in, him being Elon, you know who didn't even want to debate it? The Republicans. Not only did they shut it down, but they wouldn't allow us to engage in debate because they really don't have an explanation for why we would have an entire subcommittee that is supposed to sit atop this organization or whatever it is, because it's not really an organization. And they don't want to bring in the guy that is the face of it.
Can I ask you, is it also a little bit because they're afraid to go up against Elon Musk and Donald Trump?
Well, I don't know if they're afraid. I just think they're wusses. I mean, you know, I don't really know what it is. But right now, one of the things that the former governor just said, he talked about people basically giving up their rights and giving up their duties. I've said that they've castrated their constitutional duties. You've got Republicans that will only move, or as we used to say, jump, whenever Donald Trump says jump or Elon says jump, and it's usually how high, right? Like, that's what they're doing. They are not listening to their constituents. And I want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you that has shown up to those town halls across this country, because that's what it looks like to be engaged in a real democracy. It looks like showing up and making sure those that have been elected because of your votes start to listen to you.
I'll let that be the last word. I love it that you're thanking the American people for doing what they are privileged, have the privilege to do. Absolutely. Jasmine Crockett, privileged to have you here in studio too. I mean,
Elta MD UV Clear, trusted by derms. Loved by skin. Elta MD.
In other news, Michigan residents are going to be happy to hear this. It just came out. There's a new website where
Small business optimism saw its single largest 1-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session. Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber. Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Before we get on that, one of our most viral sensations on the internet who's been in jail for the last week or so, faux extras, he's still sitting in the LA County Jail, but they put here that he has a court date of March 5th, and we'll see if this is just a temporary hold.
We do have some breaking news just coming in from the Supreme Court. I want to get straight over to CNN's Caitlin Polans, who's pulling together the details from us. And this has to do with President Trump's moves to freeze foreign aid. Caitlin, what's happened?
Yeah, Kate, what had happened in the Trump administration is they turned off money going to nonprofits and contractors on foreign aid, people that were working with the organization USAID, the agency that the Trump administration was trying to shut down. And what the Supreme Court, what Trump wanted to do is he wanted a green light from the Supreme Court to keep that money shut off. It's being litigated at the trial level courts far below the Supreme Court. And what the Supreme Court just said is, we're not going to do that. We need the lower court to figure this out. There was a judge there who had set a deadline for the administration to pay up $2 billion by midnight of a day last week, was giving them less than 24 hours to do it. And the administration said, we can't just turn money back on like that. That's why we need the Supreme Court's help here to let us do what we want with our bills and just not pay them, freeze all the money that was outgoing. And now it's going to go back down to the lower court. But Kate, when you step back and look at what's happening in this order right here, it's 5-4. And the 4 dissenters of what is being done right now for Donald Trump, those people are all of the conservative justices. And what they are saying is, we can't believe that this Supreme Court is going to override what the executive wants to do here and just give this lower court trial judge, Judge Ali in Washington, D.C. on the district court, the power to figure this out right now. So a big struggle between the court system and Trump as president ongoing that we're going to keep seeing happen in the courts. Kate?
I was going to say, my take is like, this is not the last time this conflict and struggle is going to be playing out and making its way back to the Supreme Court. This is the beginning of a very long road here, but an important decision coming from the justices nonetheless. Caitlin, thank you so much for jumping on so quick for us.
Here with us to break all of this down. It's very, very significant. CNN's chief legal affairs correspondent, Paula Reed. This was a incredibly fast decision by the U.S. Supreme Court.
It was. It is rare that the Supreme Court drops a decision on us at 9 o'clock in the morning. And look, this decision was pretty technical, but it really reveals a lot about the divides within the court itself. This is the second time that Trump's efforts to reshape the federal government have gone up to the high court. And here specifically, the Trump administration was asking the court to keep foreign aid frozen, but the court declined to do that. They actually sent that whole issue back down to the lower court to decide if those funds need to be released. Now, this is the second time that the Supreme Court has declined to intervene on Trump's behalf. But I want to note the larger questions about what Trump can and cannot do with DOJ, with this kind of foreign aid. Those questions have not been answered. The Supreme Court has not weighed in on what we call the merits or the larger constitutional questions. That's going to take some time. But again, twice they've asked the Supreme Court to help them out, and twice they have declined.
And basically, correct me if I'm wrong, the House of Representatives and the Senate both passed authorizing legislation for these billions of dollars in foreign aid. Then they passed separate appropriations bills, and then the president signed both bills into law. The Supreme Court saying if you want to change that, there's got to be additional legislation on the Hill and more action by the president.
So I think eventually the Supreme Court will have to get at that issue. Right now, the issue they're deciding is really whether a district court judge can compel the administration to pay these billions of dollars in foreign aid that they're saying they don't want to. So it's interesting. There was a really lengthy dissent in this decision where four conservative justices were sort of outraged at the idea that a district court could compel the administration to do that. Eventually, though, they will have to answer these larger constitutional questions that you just touched on. If Congress, appropriates these funds, can the administration just say, no, we're not going to send them out? Those questions will likely take a few months to get to the court because it has to go back to the lower court and work its way through the system. And the Supreme Court really isn't looking to jump the line right now.
Yeah, that would be the bigger constitutional question, right? What is the direct impact then of this?
So right now, it's going to go back down to the lower court, and the litigation over this larger question will begin. And the district court can decide if the administration has to disperse these funds. I think what really stood out to me in this decision, though, is again, this is very preliminary. This is a very technical issue. We're not answering these larger questions yet about the separation of powers. But four justices, they all got together and they wrote a really powerful dissent. And what's notable about that is this is, again, like I said, it's not a minor decision, but it's not a massive decision. And the fact that they all took time to really lay out why they disagree with the majority, that signals that there really are pretty entrenched partisan divides on this court. And that will be incredibly significant when these larger constitutional questions do come before them in the usual formal way where there are arguments and a big opinion. Because I know from talking to my sources at the Trump White House, their long game for all of these efforts with DOJ and reshaping the federal government are designed to eventually go before the Supreme Court. And they expect that they will likely side with President Trump. It's going to be that's a long game, that's a long path, but that's how all of this has been designed. They knew these would be challenging court. They didn't expect to win initially, but they do expect to win at the high court.
The Chief Justice John Roberts was the tiebreaker.
Exactly here. Yeah. He's just said, look, we're going to send this down. We're not going to keep this frozen. We're going to send this down to the district court and they can handle it. But I think everyone expects that one of these big DOJ related cases is likely going to come back before the Supreme Court in the coming months.
Excellent explanation, Paula Reed. Thank you very, very much.
And it's interesting on the Hills because we saw President Trump briefly talking to Chief Justice Roberts last night.
Thank you to him.
He said, thank you, you'll never forget it. We don't know what he was talking about, but it's just such a fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you so much. I want to continue this discussion with CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig. So how are you viewing this, Ellie?
What is power? Maybe the better question is, how much of it can you handle? In the GMC Sierra EV Denali, we are professional grade.
Welcome to Stickerville.
Man, Stickerville kicks ass.
Try Stickerville. It's only $1.
Well, Pam, I think this is a substantial setback for the Trump administration. Now, the winning side here, the challengers, they had argued in the lower courts that essentially the president has no power to block this federal funding because Congress had already allocated it, and under Article 1 of the...
Nigga, badass. It's from Inglewood. You see how it all say less? So you can't say I'm capping. It's me, man. This is me. Do you guys think I need a YouTube? Do you guys think Bosco was doing more than me? Look at this. Look at the detail. Don't it look like a tattoo? You see why I used to get mad at my ex-girl? Talking about drawing. If I'm going to draw cartoons, at least it's going to look like this. And then you can't say I'm capped because it say less. I did this. Real life, real fake. Lit. And so, you know it's me. It's Mr. Neptune the Goon. The same B that's on my face is right there. Get the likes up. It's me. And I got a whole, man, this is what I draw with. See, it ain't all beat up. But I guess I'm a crystal meth head, right? That's what Munchie C said. Come on, y'all, let's get the lights up. Get the lights up. Munchie C said, I do crystal and I work for WAC 100. Run it back. That's what he told the world. He said, I'm a crystal meth head and I work WAC 100. That shit right there kicked my ass. I don't even know that man. Don't even know you. Keep it all the way one. Don't even know you. My whole little whoopty. You're. Come on, man. Come on, man. Everything say less. What we talking about, gang? Hit the like button. They thought I was a bum. I said I had Rude Boy Jerk Barbecue. You see the mac and cheese? You see all this? I guess I be doing all this shit out my garage. That's real shit. That's why this shit don't even hurt me. It don't even affect me. I just hear it. I be like, who is this cap ass nigga? And then when I go to those the growers, you know, where they call the sessions in Cali, where everybody that grow their own weed, they come in that big old building and they all sell weed. You gotta pay that price where, you know, it's like the club, everybody waiting in long lines. Well, this when I started doing this. Cannabis infused products. You see that? That means I take this right here and put it on everybody's food, and it's liquid marijuana. So if it's jerk chicken, get the likes up. If it's jerk chicken, you see how that green color look? Yes. This is the sauce I will put on your taco. This is the sauce I'll put on your burrito, your jerk chicken. And this is what makes it cannabis infused. Oh yeah, it's safe. It's safe. It's safe. It's with moderation. You know what I mean? You don't just douse it, or you don't give nobody like this as dipping sauce. You don't do that. You don't do that. You just hit it. You know what I mean? You know how like jerk chicken, or you know, like you don't even put it as thick as barbecue sauce. You know, when that sauce be more like a teriyaki, you know what I mean? More like a Panda Express type. You know that when you go to what is that? Louisiana chicken, and they give you that hot sauce that ain't really like thick, it's like watery, and then you put it on your chicken. You like, God, even when you the perfect example, when you go to them, you buy wheat fries, and the motherfucking that hot sauce they give you, and you put it on the fish, and you like, dang, this shit like water. That's what you do with this. Yeah, you'll fuck somebody off with that. I ain't gonna lie to you. You little boy, they'll be asleep. I don't even think shit. Eating the food wouldn't even be the problem. Getting up, they wouldn't even be able to get up. That's one of the things you be like, down, baby. Yep. Then I had like I said, my ex-girl, she would do shit like this. make her own candles. This one kind of lopsided, I guess. That's why we kept it. No, I never burned it.
For the fact classic first-timers, they don't know that nearly half of all used cars have been in an accident. But car...
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Just Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Start off with some quick sports. Congratulations to LeBron. He becomes the first NBA player to score 50,000 combined points. That's regular season and playoffs, so congratulations to him.
Go salute LeBron, man. Third best NBA player of all time. Drop on a cool bomb for him.
Yeah, I'll be a...
So did it or did it not get a little ghetto at the State of the Union last night?
I think it was ghetto from the time that it started. And I know Morgan talked a bit about this, but I wanted to talk about...
She was giving more policy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%, which is, that's what we do in the front page news. But over here, I wanted to talk about some things that some conversations that sparked from last night. So first, I know I heard you guys talking a little bit about DJ Daniel. He was a 13-year-old kid.
Boy.
Yeah, that was given a Secret Service clearance last night during the State of the Union address. Let's take a listen to that.
Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer. But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
That was a great moment.
That was dope.
And then it was like Rafiki holding up Simba. Remember he picked him up and held him up?
Kept picking
His
him up.
father picked him up.
And
Yeah.
DJ held up the badge, and when Trump announced it, DJ's face was looking like, for
Really?
real? Like,
Yeah.
is it happening?
He said, damn.
Yeah.
He said, damn. Like,
Damn,
for
pick that
real.
little boy up like that.
He did it a couple times.
It was like a big little boy.
He was
We saw
excited.
him.
Yeah. But
He was excited.
And then he
I
hugged
thought-
the agent. He asked the agent, "Can I hug you?" It looked like, and then he
Yes.
hugged the agent. He was really
when
happy,
he
man.
hugged Sean Curran, I was like, oh, like I literally said, oh, and I'm like, there's no way that anything like this can be made bad at all.
That
And
was
then
an effective stunt.
It was so effective, right? But then you had people
think so.
arguing, okay, this was race baiting. This little black boy shouldn't have been used as a prop. And I'm like, are y'all
He's
like
black.
whatever, he's a person of color,
No,
obviously.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't know his
He's
exact
not African-American.
ethnicity. But
Guarantee you
when
that.
I saw
his
that,
head was nappy.
His head was
Stop
not
it.
nappy
Yes, it was.
at all.
No,
It wasn't.
He was black.
the dad,
You think he was black?
His dad
definitely
was black.
Yeah,
His
it
dad
was-
was holding him. I don't know if that was his dad, but yeah, it
Not
seemed like that
that
was his
nappy.
dad.
I just don't think little boy was
Yeah,
black.
he was
His
black.
hair wasn't
He's
nappy.
black.
I mean, it was patchy, but it wasn't nappy.
well, it was
Very effective stunt.
yes, that's my point. So what I'm saying, the point of me and mentioning is not only was it a good moment, but I think it made people, and I think to Trump's like what they were trying to do, and he is so good at what he does, and he does it so subtly. It made people start arguing about all the wrong stuff. I'm like, how are y'all upset?
He's a master at it.
Yeah, how are y'all upset that this little boy? This is one of his dreams. He wanted to be a police officer. You know what I mean?
But why do we call it a stunt? Like he might have really wanted to do that. That might not have been a stunt because
It's
he
definitely
They do it on both sides too. Don't get me wrong. At the State of the Union address, they do it on both sides.
Yeah, a stunt
a
makes
stunt.
it feel like it wasn't hard coming from the heart.
It can
Like it
still
was
come from the
malicious
heart.
or something with some type of different intent.
That's right.
Like, yeah.
It
He wanted
was
to
a
give
stunt.
that boy a wish.
You know what he did? It for this. For us to be having this conversation right here. It's effective. That's why it's a stunt.
Yeah. Well,
There was a few of those he did yesterday.
The trans one, was that a stunt?
Which one?
Absolutely not. That is
I think
very
it was
much
the volleyball
real.
player.
How
She
he
was a
feels
volleyball
about
player.
it.
It was a good moment that
was-
I identified as a stunt.
okay. Well, so here's one of the conversations that I wanted to get into about this as well. Is like y'all are arguing about that, but the real tea here is that if we have a conversation about some of the stuff that Trump has been dismantling, some of the efforts to find cures for cancer and other deadly disorders and diseases is on that list. But you're giving this little boy this badge and you're wanting him to have this full life, but you no longer want to help him figure out the reason why he's been able to be here this long, despite what doctor said to him. So I thought that, I'm like, wow, that went over people's head. I don't know how, but it did. And then I know we talked a little about the resistance and what people, or tried to talk about the resistance and what people should have been doing or whatever. I do want to, it was very subtle. It was only a few of them, but I know Jasmine Crockett walked out yesterday. Rep. Ayanna Presley walked out yesterday, and there were a few other reps that walked out. And Jasmine Crockett actually was interviewed about what she would tell Trump last night. Let's take a listen to this.
If you could
A
tell,
sequel.
if you could tell Donald Trump anything tonight, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to grow a spine and stop being Putin's hoe.
Damn.
Jesus.
All right.
Tell him to grow a spine and stop being Putin's hoe.
Damn.
Jesus.
All right. Drop on the clues bomb job.
I thought that was a great moment as well too. That people tried.
That was better than the whole Democratic rebuttal that they had. That woman. I don't even know who that freshman senator was. That was better than the whole
before
Democratic
she even
rebuttal.
came on.
I didn't know she came on.
Yeah.
I didn't know she came
and
on.
the group of women that were with Jasmine Crockett that walked out, there were like 4 or 5 other senators. They all had on the Good Trouble T-shirts as well too. And then Jasmine Crockett did the
Super Bowl, Kendrick
the little
Lamar.
Super Bowl Kendrick Lamar skit for TikTok.
We don't need all that.
Nah,
we don't need all
because
that.
two women, they didn't have the rhythm.
That wasn't on beat. No.
So
That was off.
like, you know, I said,
Tried last night. They
No, we
tried.
don't need that. We don't need that.
I also y'all saw the moment where Trump when in the beginning Trump was talking about Melania working with foster care.
Mhm.
Her and she smiled. That hurt seeing her actually
her
love her
smile?
husband. What?
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
know.
this is her first my man moment. Like, okay. But I wanted to also go into now because Elon Musk was a topic of conversation online last night as well because Trump introduced him as the person that was heading Doge and like all those efforts. But he said before that Elon wasn't that person.
In court, they say something totally different.
Exactly. But yesterday online, Elon was viral because he retweeted something that
This is crazy.
Yes, it was very crazy. He retweeted something that Ben Shapiro said about George Floyd. Let's take a listen to what Ben Shapiro said.
If we are issuing pardons, there is one person that President Trump should pardon from federal charges forthwith. That person is Derek Chauvin. The inciting event for the BLM riots that caused $2 billion in property damage in the United States and set America's race relations on their worst footing in my lifetime was, in fact, the railroading of Derek Chauvin in the death of George Floyd. The evidence demonstrates Derek Chauvin did not, in fact, commit murder of George Floyd. George Floyd was high on fentanyl. He had a significant pre-existing heart condition. George Floyd was saying he could not breathe before he was even out of the car. Derek Chauvin, for large segments of even the tape that was shown, had his knee on George Floyd's shoulder or back, not on his neck. The autopsy of George Floyd showed that he had no damage to his trachea, that probably George Floyd died of excited delirium.
And who was Ben Shapiro for people that don't know?
Ben Shapiro is he's a pundit. He's a conservative pundit. He has a big platform. People do listen to him. But I want to correct
His own podcast. He writes for Newsweek. The Ben Shapiro.
Riots that caused $2 billion in property damage.
About George Floyd. Let's take a listen to what Ben Shapiro said.
If we are issuing pardons, there is one person that President Trump should pardon from federal charges forthwith. That person is Derek Chauvin. The inciting event for the BLM riots that caused $2 billion in property damage in the United States and set America's race relations on their worst footing in my lifetime was, in fact, the railroading of Derek Chauvin in the death of George Floyd. The evidence demonstrates Derek Chauvin did not, in fact, commit murder of George Floyd. George Floyd was high on fentanyl. He had a significant pre-existing heart condition. George Floyd was saying he could not breathe before he was even out of the car. Derek Chauvin, for large segments of even the tape that was shown, had his knee on George Floyd's shoulder or back, not on his neck. The autopsy of George Floyd showed that he had no damage to his trachea, that probably George Floyd died of excited delirium.
And who is Ben Shapiro for people that don't know?
Ben Shapiro is he's a pundit. He's a conservative pundit. He has a big platform. People do listen to him. But I want to correct
his own podcast. He writes for Newsweek. The Ben Shapiro Show. Just for people that don't know, he's an attorney that don't know who he is.
Ben Shapiro's a big deal.
Yes, and I want go ahead. I want to correct. First of all, George Floyd, the autopsy report that came out that he's referring to concluded that George Floyd died from cardiopulmonary arrest from the knee that was to his neck in the amount of time that it was there, not an overdose. There was things that came up in the autopsy report that he's referring to, but that it was not determined George Floyd's the reason why George Floyd passed away. So I did want to correct that. But Elon Musk retweeted this. And he said, this is something we should consider. And I thought that too, because that was a huge conversation during the State of the Union. People were online arguing about this. You had Offset chiming in. And he was upset, as he should be. He called Elon racist. People were responding to him like, drive a Ferrari, not a Tesla then. But again, I'm like, the timing is kind of crazy, right?
It's a distraction. It's part of the economy of engagement through enragement.
Yes.
He knows that's going to piss everybody off. He knows that's going to get everybody talking. That's a distraction. Like, come on.
And it's hard to just stare away from because it's like watching Baddies West. It's like you don't know why you're so entertained, but you're just watching all this stuff. Yeah, but it was crazy yesterday online. So
Did you reach out to Ben Crump?
I did reach out to Ben Crump. He has not gotten back to me yet, but
Okay.
I did because he represents a lot of the Floyd family members.
That's why I asked,
Philanese Floyd, who's George Floyd's brother. So I did reach out to just see if they even care, but he didn't respond and he normally does. And maybe he doesn't want to even give this any more light. I wouldn't be mad
I
at
wouldn't
him
even
if
give
he
it no
didn't.
energy.
Yeah. So
All
that's
right.
all for me.
All right. Well, that is the rumors.
you,
Thank
Lauren.
you, Jess. Thank you, Lauren.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
So, achieving this level of flavor, is it difficult? Oh, you know.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Just Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Start off with some quick sports. Congratulations to LeBron. He becomes the first NBA player to score 50,000 combined points. That's regular season and playoffs. So congratulations to him.
Go salute LeBron, man. Third best NBA player of all time. Dropping the food bombs for him.
Yeah, that'll be a big argument. Also,
Great
Kyrie
debate for
Irving.
years.
Kyrie Irving has torn his ACL. He's going to be out for the remainder of the season. And congratulations to Saquon Barkley. He signed a 2-year, $41.2 million contract extension with the Eagles.
That's a big deal for Kyrie Irving, by the way. I mean, that some people say that could be a career-ending injury.
Yeah.
I say he's 32 years old. I think he could bounce back, but it's going to be a long time. And the Mavericks only had a 2-3 year window.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah. Because Anthony Davis is injured. He's injured. And I don't know how Klay Thompson's been playing recently. So we'll see. But good morning, Morgan.
Good morning, DJ MV, Charlamagne the God, and Just Hilarious. Y'all doing all right?
Yes.
Or y'all tired because y'all stayed up watching that?
I did. It felt like a Western Conference basketball game. It was very late.
I watched it and then coming off of a plane from vacation. Yes, tired.
You like, I need another vacation.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let me disclaim by saying that there's no way I'm going to get to it all, okay? But I'm going to try my best, y'all, all right? So President Trump touted his leadership and plans for the U.S. in the longest address ever to a joint session of Congress. Trump said since he was sworn in 6 weeks ago, there has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action. He went on to say his administration has accomplished more in 43 days than others have accomplished in 4 years or 8 years. During his joint address to Congress, he spoke about DEI, immigration, the economy, border security, the budget, tariffs, DOGE, the Ukraine-Russian war, energy, and he also slammed the Biden administration, saying he inherited an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Let's take a listen to President Trump's comments on the economy.
Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
What do you guys think?
About what? Just overall the whole speech? Or
I mean,
just
economy, I mean, it's too early to tell. I mean, there's a lot of, he's done a lot of things. Well, I'll just say this. During his speech, he did speak about the budget, saying that the gold card will help with the federal budget and overall economy. He said the gold card will be sold for $5 million. Remember, this is the one that is allowing pathway to citizenship and will allow most successful job creating people from all over the world to get a path to U.S. citizenship. Trump said the gold card recipients will pay a lot of money, and that will help reduce the national debt. He also defended his use of tariffs that went into effect yesterday against Mexico, Canada, and China, saying there will be more tariffs on April 2nd. Let's take a listen to Trump's comments on tariffs.
Tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that.
Who said
Lord
that?
have mercy.
Who said, okay, a little disturbance, but as a result, Trump says that he does love American farmers and the tariffs will help them, adding he'll place reciprocal tariffs on agricultural products coming into America starting on April 2nd. Now, Trump also talked about the Ukraine-Russian war. He said he's working tirelessly, speaking to both sides in negotiations to end that conflict. He mentioned that he received a letter from Ukrainian President Zelensky saying that Zelensky is actually willing to negotiate as soon as possible. So let's take a listen to those comments.
It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end this senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible.
Yep. So of course this comes as Trump, he's critical of or criticizes the fact that the U.S. has sent billions of dollars in support to Ukraine's defense. But I'm going to wrap that up for 6 a.m. At 7 a.m. we can continue and talk a little bit about DEI and some of the drama that happened on the House floor.
No, only thing I kept thinking last night was I really don't know what Democrats do. Like, I mean, they clearly lost a long time ago back in November, but just as a party, it's like Republicans and Democrats aren't even playing the same game. They're not in the same league. Like, they aren't speaking the same language. And I don't know what Democrats can do to cut through. I mean, my other thought was a lot of them honestly shouldn't have shown up if they weren't going to be more disruptive. Like, salute to Congressman Al Green. OG got some nuts. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, the rest of them out there holding up signs like they had a silent auction. So I just don't know. I don't know what they do, because Trump can stand up there and, say whatever he wants, tell a lot of lies, but nobody cares, because if you're a Democrat, you think Republicans are always lying. If you're a Republican, you think Democrats are always lying. So nobody is listening objectively. But at this point, Americans are just going to have to let things play out. But when the inevitable fumble from Republicans come, I just don't know if Democrats have the team to recover. So the team that will always win will be the team that has a game plan, regardless of how terrible that team's policies may be for the American people.
I guess, was it effective? Like, everything that was done, was it effective?
What, Trump last night?
No, not Trump. The Democrats and everything that they did. The silent, not the silent auction, but holding up the signs. And,
exactly.
I wonder if it was effective,
No.
All right. Well, we'll talk more next hour.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, just hilarious. Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get back in some front page news. Now, congratulations to LeBron James. He becomes the first to score 50,000 combined points in the NBA regular season and playoffs. So congratulations to Bron James. Yep. And also congratulations to Saquon Barkley. He signed a 2-year.
After last month's massive solar flare added a 25th hour to the day, businesses are wondering, what should we do with it?
Bacon and eggs, 25-7.
You're darn right.
Solar stocks are up 20% with the additional hour in the day.
WBC. Chris, nice to have you with us. What do you make of what's going on right now?
Thanks for having me back. I think the one constant we see right now is change, and we never know what the next shoe is going to drop. When it will happen. And so considering what Lutnick came out with this morning, the expectation we might have some relief, I think that lends a little bit of stability to the situation. But the overall operational framework is still a challenge for us to work through in terms of, will the greenback change, will the loonie change in terms of relative to each other? And then overseas, when we're talking about the European zone, there's all sorts of news, coming out of there with regard to the economic implications. And that's kind of weighing in on the overall situation as well. So I'm very thoughtful about how all this is coming into play.
All right. Well, it's interesting, as I was even chatting about how yesterday unfolded with people yesterday, because the Lutnick comments initially came out late in the day yesterday. So we weren't even a day into tariffs being implemented that he was sort of changing the tone, which prompted a lot of, what is he doing responses. Now, I just want to be clear to our audience, and many of them have been tracking the markets for years. I mean, Howard Lutnick is a legend on Wall Street. This is somebody who, obviously his firm got hit so hard on 9/11 and they built back. He understands the language of Wall Street. So on the one hand, you have to ask, is he shifting away from what he actually knows about what the markets are seeking? Or is this part of a strategy to get the market increasingly used to the tariff reality, which President Trump seems pretty excited about tariffs, generally speaking? And maybe Lutnick is trying to manage the market's response over time so we don't see a massive sell-off all at once. What do you think?
I can't disagree with that thought process. I mean, Lutnick is very aware of how to position things and how to state things, and in terms of getting what you want. And there's a saying, talking your book. And to some degree, I think that is happening coming out of Washington across the board. And I think Lutnick is doing a decent job of continuing to push the narrative of what's going on with the tariff situation. And it keeps everyone on their toes. So there's good and bad with that. It does create a lot of volatility, but at least there's news coming out, and traders and market participants really dislike the uncertainties, and more uncertainties continue to come out over time. But as we learn information and learn news and hear about changes and adaptations that may be taking place, it allows us at least to shift in position for the next leg.
All right. So this is going to be an interesting day to watch, and I will add to the conversation. I mean, obviously, we covered what in this country, and I'm sure you saw the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau with Canada's retaliatory tariffs. But even in the province of Ontario, you had the premier, newly reelected, who, says, okay, we got a 25% tax on the power going to states like New York and Minnesota. We're going to take U.S. booze off the shelves. There was a lot of reporting suggesting in his conversations with Lutnick yesterday, he said, thanks, but no thanks. We're not, changing anything right now because you've really frustrated us. Maybe that influenced Lutnick. Maybe it didn't. But as an investor who's trying to make sound decisions in all this, what sometimes feels like unnecessary chaos, what do you do?
You try and go back to the middle in any way you can, whether it's portfolio positioning, whether it's trying to find a balance between what you're trying to accomplish. And there's a lot of politicking going on, taking the booze off the shelves for argument's sake. It's already in the country. There's nothing that's going to change the dynamic. It's a little bit of politicking and window dressing, so to speak. And I think that speaks to someone's base as a politician. It really doesn't change the narrative of what's going on overall. So when you try to be wary of what can you do to be more neutral in your approach to portfolios and investing, it's thoughtful to remain liquid, aware of where your positions can go right or wrong, and reposition as time goes on. I mean, we always talk about repositioning a portfolio if you have a big run up in a particular stock sector, industry, or asset class. And right now we're being thoughtful about, hey, we might have some opportunity to buy into some things that are taking a dip, and there might be some good opportunities down the road. And I think being aware of those without taking undue risk is an appropriate strategy.
Yeah, just going to squeeze, that's helpful. I'm going to squeeze one quick one in. So I was just looking at the S&P 500. It looks like it's now down, give or take 6% from the recent peak. However, it felt like yesterday in trading, as soon as we got back to the levels we were at around election night, which had previously marked this Trump bump, all of a sudden people sort of hit the pause button. Now, 10% is an official correction. We had not seen a correction in the market during this bull market so far. Sometimes corrections actually can be healthy. So if you're going to be looking for opportunity, is it just literally in what we have seen in these damaged stocks over the last couple of weeks?
I think to some degree it is. I mean, when you're talking about the opportunity, I look at the Trump put to be around the 5,600 on the S&P. That's about a 10% correction from the highs. I think that starts to get the attention of President Trump. I think he's willing to take some noise until we see some more meaningful decline. But for the rest of us, when we're trying to invest, there's opportunity in there. So looking at things that might be taking a hit in energy, AI, I think there's opportunity in those spaces specifically because I think they will come out of the situation that we're in right now a little bit stronger, and there's some bounce to be had. So there's opportunity for sure.
Okay, Chris, appreciate the breakdown. Chris Brigatti of SWBC joining us.
Meet a digital bank account built for businesses like yours. With American Express Business Checking, you'll say goodbye to monthly fees and say hello to 24/7 customer service, a competitive APY, and membership rewards points on eligible business debit card purchases. You can redeem those points for deposits directly into your business checking account or transfer them to select participating travel partners. Access your account online or on the app, so banking has never been easier. American Express Business Checking.
Police in Southfield need your help finding a man accused of shooting someone inside an office building in that city. These are surveillance photos of the guy they're looking for. Police say this man opened fire inside the Advance building on Greenfield Road near West 9 Mile Monday afternoon. One person was hit. There's no word on that victim's condition at this time, but if you know anything about the shooting, you're asked to call Southfield Police.
In New Orleans, a usually festive Mardi Gras parade turning sour as the crowd spots some Tesla Cybertruck. Onlookers booing, jeering, and pelting the vehicles with beads usually tossed at revelers. Just the latest sign of backlash to Elon Musk's central role in the Trump administration, now affecting his car company and those who buy his cars. Recent protests erupting outside Tesla dealerships in Manhattan, Boston, and Tucson, Arizona, calling for a boycott.
This is a protest against Trump and Musk, mainly because they're trying to take from the poor to pass a tax relief, they call it, for the wealthy.
And even an alleged arson attack targeting Tesla charging stations under investigation in Massachusetts. At the same time, posts on social media from people who say they're trying to sell their Tesla because they don't want to be associated with Musk. Including star musician Sheryl Crow waving goodbye to her towed Tesla.
I don't like Elon Musk.
NBC affiliate 9 News in Denver reporting on a dirt parking lot full of Teslas and speaking to another woman who sold hers.
He doesn't care about people. He has no empathy whatsoever. So he can be the richest man in the world, but I'm not going to help contribute to that.
But those selling might have trouble getting much in return. Used car website Car Gurus reporting that the average price of used Teslas has crashed from about $67,000 in 2022 to under $30,000 this month, not much more than your run-of-the-mill used car. That could just be due to loads of Tesla leases coming to an end, or it might have something to do with Musk's association with Trump.
I think the answer is it's too early to tell. It definitely is polarizing in both directions, whether it's GM or Hyundai, Kia. They're starting to put a lot more EVs into the marketplace, so that's going to continue to create competition for Tesla.
Tesla's stock price is also getting hammered this year, more than the broader market, dropping around 35% since President Trump took office with Musk at his side. But beyond Musk's politics, there are global factors at work, spooking the markets on Tesla. Softening demand in major foreign markets like China, which announced today that Tesla shipments are down about 50% in February from the month before. And sales are down in Europe, too, where Musk's support for far-right parties has provoked some anger. But a global rise in nationalism might be at work, too.
There is a broader movement afoot globally where patriotic consumers, whether they're Chinese buyers or European buyers, there's an inward look at trying to really shield and protect your own brands, your own markets. And this is where we are now.
We reached out to Tesla for comment on the protests and its stock decline. We did not immediately hear back. Musk, meanwhile, brushing off his critic.
That the revolution might actually succeed, that we could restore power to the people instead of power to the bureaucracy.
To be clear, Tesla's stock is still above where it was the day before Donald Trump was elected last November. But there's no doubt that the apparent backlash to Elon Musk is going global. A Tesla dealership in the French city of Toulouse also hit by an alleged arson attack that authorities say completely destroyed 8 cars. A sign, perhaps, that Tesla's supercharged growth may be running out of juice.
David Noriega is joining us now. Okay, so when we talk about car companies, one of the things we talk about are those tariffs that President Trump has put in place. Some automakers are concerned about that. What's the vibe from Tesla?
Yeah, Hallie, so other automakers, more older automakers, stand to be affected by those tariffs more than Tesla because they've gotten used over the last 30 years or so to the North American integrated market that resulted from NAFTA. Tesla is a little bit more removed from that way of doing things, but of course they're still plugged into these cross-border supply chains, and they of course will be affected by those tariffs. Musk, however, projects bullishness on how his political activity will affect his businesses. He says the same thing about EV tax credits going away, for example. He's not worried about how that might affect Tesla. And that is the big question here. This slump facing his businesses, is it the beginning of a longer downturn, or is it something temporary that his companies are going to bounce back from? We don't really know yet, Hallie. It'll take some time to find out.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
IRS e-file is now open. Snap your W-2 and file your taxes 100% free. Plus, get your biggest refund. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. File now.
So let's bring in Kid Rock, who we spoke to during around the inauguration, I believe. And what's that been, about 43 days? Lots happened since then, Kid.
Yeah, where do you want to start?
I mean, I don't even know where to start. Where do you start? I don't even know if I could give this speech in 3 hours. There's been so much to talk about.
Been unbelievable to sit back and watch. Just to, I mean, go figure, to have a politician, not a politician, somebody who comes into this from complete opposite of a politician from a business standpoint, makes a list, tells people what he's going to do, and wow, he goes out and starts doing them.
Thank you, Chairman Comer. Thank you to the ranking member Connolly and to the members of this committee. I have the great privilege and honor of serving as mayor of the city of Chicago, the third largest city in the nation. Established by a Black Haitian man and a Potawatomi woman, Chicago is and always has been a proud city of immigrants. Generations of new arrivals, including the descendants of the enslaved during the Great Migration, created a vibrant city where 1 in 5 residents is foreign born. Each day I wake up to serve every one of Chicago's 77 unique neighborhoods and those who live in our great city. As mayor of Chicago, nothing is more important to me than the safety and well-being of all residents. And since I was elected, my administration has been laser focused on creating and implementing public safety initiatives that protect all Chicagoans. We launched the People's Plan for Community Safety, which builds trust between communities and law enforcement by prioritizing transparency and violence intervention. We established a dedicated robbery task force that reduced robberies by 25% citywide. We added over 200 detectives, increasing the clearance rates on our cases. And we've updated police equipment and technology so that our police officers have the tools they need to effectively prevent and fight crime. Our efforts to improve public safety by building trust with and investing in our communities are working. Violent crime is down in Chicago. The city ended 2024 with its lowest homicide rate in 5 years. The city is also safer because of our Welcoming City Ordinance. That law makes sure that the city's police resources are focused on our local priorities. In fact, the 40 years of Chicago's leaders have recognized that our policies toward civil immigration matters help to prevent and solve crimes. Put simply, any actions that amplify fears of deportations make Chicago more dangerous. Those fears cause witnesses and victims to avoid cooperating with police. The cooperation of all people, regardless of their immigration status, is essential to achieving the city's goals of reducing crime and pursuing justice for victims. When there is trust between city's residents and the police, undocumented immigrants come forward to report crimes to local law enforcement and provide information that helps the police solve those crimes. And now, I know there are myths about these laws, but we must not let mischaracterizations and fear-mongering obscure the reality that Chicago's crime rates are trending down. We still have a long way to go. But sensationalizing tragedy in the name of political expediency is not governing, it's grandstanding. Every violent crime is devastating, but scapegoating entire communities is not only misleading, it is unjust and it is beneath us. So let me be clear. Chicago's Welcoming City Ordinance and our other laws and policies do not lead to more crime. They do not prevent cooperation with federal law enforcement on criminal matters. And we do not harbor criminals. We arrest them, often because of laws that allow residents to feel safe helping the police. As mayor, I'm building a Chicago that embodies the dream of my father had when he came from Salis, Mississippi during the second migration, a Chicago that invests in housing, healthcare, jobs, and education. And that's why we've increased safe and stable housing by adding almost 4,000 more units, expanded access to healthcare by opening 3 mental health centers, and focused on getting our young people well-paying jobs, with summer jobs increasing by 45% since I've taken office. Our local partnerships have built a solid foundation, a better, stronger, and a much safer Chicago. We need this body's support for these efforts. We are ready to partner with you on the measures we know promote trust and create sustainable public safety. And to the people of Chicago and all hardworking people across this great nation, these values are our North Star, the drinking gourd we follow to a better future. We will not live in fear. It is not our portion. We will not go back. I do look forward to answering the questions of this committee. Thank you.
You can save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Whoa! Ha, very funny, Limu. Doesn't even look like me.
So did it or did it not get a little ghetto at the State of the Union last night?
I think it was ghetto from the time that it started. And I know Morgan talked a bit about this, but I wanted to talk about
She was giving more policy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%, which is, that's what we do in the front page news. But over here, I wanted to talk about some things that some conversations that sparked from last night.
Mhm.
So first, I know I heard you guys talking a little bit about DJ Daniel. He was a 13-year-old
Little
kid.
boy.
Yeah, that was given a Secret Service clearance last night during the State of the Union address. Let's take a listen to that.
Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer. But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
That was a great
dope.
moment.
That was dope.
And then it was like Rafiki holding up Simba. Remember
Yeah,
he picked
he
him up
kept-
and
yo,
held
he
him up?
kept picking
His
him up.
father picked him up.
And
Yeah.
then DJ held up the badge, and when Trump announced it, DJ's face was looking like, for
Really?
real? Like,
Yeah.
he was like, is this happening?
He said, damn.
Yeah.
He said, damn. Like,
Damn,
for
pick that
real.
little boy up like that.
He did it a couple times.
It was like, that's a big little boy.
He was
We saw
excited.
him.
Yeah.
He's excited.
And then he
I
hugged
thought-
the agent. He
Yes.
asked the agent, "Can I hug you?" It looked like, and then he
Yes.
hugged the agent. He was really
When
happy,
he
man.
hugged Sean Kern, I was like, oh, like I literally said, oh, and I'm like, there's no way that anything like this can be made bad at all.
That
And
was
then
an effective stunt.
It was so effective, right? But then you had people
think so.
arguing, okay, this was race baiting. This little black boy shouldn't have been used as a prop. And I'm like, are y'all
He's
like
black.
I don't whatever. He's a person of color,
No, okay.
obviously.
Yeah.
So I don't know his
He's not
exact
African American.
ethnicity. But
Guarantee
when
you
I
that.
when I saw
his
that,
head was nappy.
His head was
Stop
not
it.
nappy
Yes, it was.
at all.
No,
It wasn't.
He was black.
the dad,
You think he was black?
His dad
Definitely
was black.
Yeah,
His
it
dad
was-
was holding him up. I don't know if that was his dad, but yeah, it
Not
seemed
that
like
that
that was his
matters.
matters. I
dad.
just don't think little boy
Yeah,
was
he
black.
was
His
black.
hair wasn't
He's
nappy.
black.
I mean, it was patchy, but it wasn't nappy.
well, it was
Very effective stunt.
yes, that's my point. So what I'm saying, the point of me and mentioning is not only was it a good moment, but I think it made people, and I think to Trump's like what they were trying to do, and he is so good at what he does, and he does it so subtly. It made people start arguing about all the wrong stuff. I'm like, how are y'all upset?
He's a master at it.
Yeah, how are y'all upset that this little boy? This is one of his dreams. He wanted to be a police officer. You know what I mean?
But why do we call it a stunt? Like, he might have really wanted to do that. That might not have been a stunt because
It's definitely a stunt.
They do
stunt
it on both
Trump's
sides
thing.
too.
What are you
Don't get me
talking about?
wrong. At the
Yeah,
State of the
they do-
Union
that's
address,
what you
they
do
do
at
it
the
on
State
both
of the Union.
sides.
Yeah, a stunt
a
makes
stunt.
it feel like it wasn't heart coming from the heart.
It can
Like it
still
was
come from the
malicious
heart.
or something with some type of different intent.
That's right.
Like, yeah.
It
He wanted
was
to
a
give
stunt.
that boy a wish.
You know what he did? It for this. For us to be having this conversation right here. It's effective. That's why it's a stunt.
Yeah. Well,
There was a few of those he did yesterday.
The trans one? Was that a stunt?
Which one?
Absolutely not. That is
I think
very
it was
much
the volleyball
real.
player.
How
She
he
was a
feels
volleyball
about
player.
it.
It was a good moment that
was-
identified as a stunt.
okay. Well, so here's one of the conversations that I wanted to get into about this as well. Is like y'all are arguing about that, but the real tea here is that if we have a conversation about some of the stuff that Trump has been dismantling, some of the efforts to find cures for cancer and other deadly disorders and diseases is on that list.
Mhm.
But you're giving this little boy this badge, and you're wanting him to have this full life, but you're not you no longer want to help him figure out the reason why he's been able to be here this long, despite what doctor said to him. So I thought that, I'm like, wow, that went over people's head. I don't know how, but it did. And then I know we talked a little about the resistance and what people are
should pardon from federal charges forthwith. That person is Derek Chauvin, the inciting event for the BLM riots that caused $2 billion in property damage in the United States and set America's race relations on their worst footing in my lifetime was, in fact, the railroading of Derek Chauvin in the death of George Floyd. The evidence demonstrates Derek Chauvin did not, in fact, commit murder of George Floyd. George Floyd was high on fentanyl. He had a significant pre-existing heart condition. George Floyd was saying he could not breathe before he was even out of the car. Derek Chauvin, for large segments of even the tape that was shown, had his knee on George Floyd's shoulder or back, not on his neck. The autopsy of George Floyd showed that he had no damage to his trachea, that probably George Floyd died of excited delirium.
And who is Ben Shapiro for people that don't know?
Ben Shapiro is he's a pundit. He's a conservative pundit. He has a big platform. People do listen to him. But I want to correct
his own podcast. He writes for Newsweek, the Ben Shapiro Show. Just for people that don't know, he's an attorney that don't know who he is.
Ben Shapiro's a big deal.
Yes, and go ahead. I want to correct, first of all, George Floyd, the autopsy report that came out that he's referring to concluded that George Floyd died from cardiopulmonary arrest from the knee that was to his neck in the amount of time that it was there, not an overdose. There was things that came up in the autopsy report that he's referring to, but that it was not determined George Floyd's, the reason why George Floyd passed away. So I did want to correct that. But Elon Musk retweeted this. And he said, this is something we should consider. And I thought that too, because that was a huge conversation during the State of the Union. People were online arguing about this. You had Offset chiming in. And he was upset, as he should be. He called Elon racist. People were responding to him like, drive a Ferrari, not a Tesla then. But again, I'm like,
that's
the timing kind of crazy, right?
It's a distraction. It's part of the economy of engagement through enragement.
Yes.
He knows that's going to piss everybody off. He knows that's going to get everybody talking.
Man, what you mean?
That's a distraction.
Man.
Like, come on.
And it's hard to stay away from because it's like watching Baddies West. It's like you don't